Florida is looking for a coach. They're just biding their time. But the SEC held it down and they embarrassed Clemson. And man,
Yes.
Dabo, whew.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and on today's Throw Down Thursday episode, in segment one, we're going to discuss Power Four conferences and Notre Dame. In segment two, we're going to discuss Group of Five conferences, and in segment three, we'll do our OCP power rankings as well as things strictly for entertainment purposes. Let's get started with Big Boy Football, SEC. Impressive week. The big boys did big boy things. Shout out to Vanderbilt and Diego Pavia from New Mexico. They got the win over Virginia Tech. These are the things you do to make good first impressions. With me today, Captain for Life, Will Cotton. Will, what's your first impression of the SEC?
Oh, SEC is starting off strong. Unfortunately, not Florida though. I think that was probably the biggest disappointment I've seen from all week. And yeah, that'll be a story all year because I don't see their coach lasting the entire season, and that'll be a hot team that a lot are going to attract a lot of suitors in terms of coaching. Could be Dion, his. I don't know if he's there yet, but either way, Florida is looking for a coach. They're just biding their time. But the SEC held it down and they embarrassed Clemson. And man,
Yes.
Dabo, whew, need to hit
We
that
will
transfer portal.
we will get to him later in this segment. Big Ten, Oregon laid an egg. Penn State and Ohio State were impressive. Penn State did something that I liked when you played for me. So it's a big game for them. Just a regular game for us. All your fans, all your pomp and circumstance in West Virginia, we're going to go here, we're going to beat you, and then we're going to leave even with the weather delay. So it's a good thing for Penn State. And a lot of schools handled their business. Maryland, a lot of other schools just got the win. Thoughts on the Big Ten this week?
Oh, Ohio State got the win. Maryland got the win. I'm happy to keep moving.
Okay, Big 12, the good, Utah. Utah handled his business, the bad. Colorado didn't impress. Didn't say you're supposed to win by 40, but you got to play better because you're going to play better teams. And Houston, that was a really bad loss for them using the UNLV. What are you thinking about the Big 12 this week?
Oh man, the biggest thing is going to be Colorado. They played on what, Friday or Thursday?
Thursday. Thursday.
Thursday, yeah. People are still talking about it. So there's going to be a lot of eyes on Colorado, so they got to take advantage of those eyes, man. If they win, they rank up enough, then they can make a bowl this year. Again, the defense looks terrible. I saw Sanders took a couple shots in the season. You don't want to take those kind of shots in the first season, in the first game. Took two really big ones. I mean, one was good throws, but man, some big shots. So they
And
got to protect.
Shador had some penalties too. I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, they gotta tighten it up because they know, Big 12 is only going to get more competitive because everybody's going for that spot. So should be good.
Okay. ACC. This has been the talk of the group chat all week. So the ACC was an embarrassment in my eyes. Okay. Shout out to Miami, but this is a bum conversation. Will, you played for me, and we took special pride in the preseason of getting ready to play. The ACC teams as a collective didn't look like they were ready to play. So I don't really want to hear about teams being young and this. I mean, Elon was hanging with Duke for goodness sake. Okay. I don't want to hear about that. So you can talk me off a ledge. Your thoughts on the ACC this week. I thought, to quote Rob Pfeiffer, they were piss poor.
Not grossly overrated. I mean, I could tell you that Florida State is going to be good later down, but I think they're overrated as well. I think most of the teams are going to be overrated. Clemson obviously was over. They couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle Georgia. They couldn't even handle Georgia for a little bit. I think they were hanging around the first quarter. But then, it's going to be Miami's to lose. Miami looked really, really good yesterday. They beat a team that they should beat yesterday in the SEC conference.
And
They
they
have
beat
a
them
really
well.
They beat him very well. Yeah, they have an amazing quarterback that we haven't seen in Miami in a long time. Matter of fact, in almost 30 years, we haven't seen a Miami quarterback to go out to get drafted in the first round. This kid has the skill to do it if he keeps balling the way he's doing. The one interception that he did throw, I believe, hit somebody in the back of the foot, and it landed in a. It was one of those fluke interception, Joy. Something fluke happened when he threw an interception. But yeah, the offensive line was just pushing Florida off the ball. I mean, 5-7 yards, no problem. So if I'm an ACC and I'm a Miami fan, I'll be very excited that could probably be a representative in the college football playoff.
Now, I do want to have the Clemson conversation. On the show, it has been well documented that I said Clemson's days of being an elite program are over, in part due to the stubbornness of Dabo Swinney. As a head coach, I understand how hard it is to coach. I understand how hard it is sometimes to change with the times and so forth. I cost you guys 2 wins your senior year because I wanted to do something that I thought we could do. And even you guys are like, nah, that's going to work. And then when I did acquiesce, we beat that team by like 15 or 20. I don't even know what it was. But you have access to better players. You have access to better materials. You have access to all types of things. And you're making a conscious choice not to utilize the resources in front of you. You work in technology and there's easier ways to do things. Any thoughts from your end about Clemson? And are we being too mean? Or, yeah, man, the best they could do is the IC title, the U.S. title, but they're not world champions anymore. They're going to be just good, but not good enough.
We'll see what happens with Clemson. There's two stark juxtaposition of two teams. We have Clemson and we have Alabama. Both coaches don't believe in the transfer portal or NIL and all that stuff. So we had a coach like Saban who said, you know what, this is not for me anymore. Let me take a step back. Let me leave the program intact. And look, they just won 63-0 yesterday. Meanwhile, here we go, Clemson, who's not trying to adapt, who's becoming bigger than the program. And I think that's sometimes the problem with the coaches. The coach is like, this is about me. This is how I've done it. It's like, well, the old days are done and now you have to do new things to win. And if he's not trying to do that, if he's just trying to go, recruit and not go in the transfer portal, not only are you going to lose talent coming from the transfer portal, but two, you're going to lose because players are going to leave because they're going to say, well, I'm not going to do this if I don't have any talent to play with. I'm not going to win. So they're going to leave. You can't replace that talent. It's going to be a long, long season for Clemson, and it will teach them a pretty much big lesson about, hey, man, the times have changed, and this is how we operate, and this is how you stay competitive. So Dabo knows. So if he doesn't, it's just stubbornness.
Yeah, last thing for me about Clemson before we close the segment. They look slow. And 2 years ago on the show, my tag team partner, Mike Francis, said they're slow and they're getting slower. And everyone else in the country is getting faster. And when Georgia and Clemson were both on the field, there was levels to this thing. And again, I'm not saying you're not going to win 9-10 games. I'm not saying you're not going to compete for the ACC championship, but you get in the playoff if you're fortunate enough to get second team in, and that's no guarantee for the ACC. Man, that's just fattening up frogs for snakes. But with that, last independent Notre Dame, they got the win they needed. Big upset over Texas A&M at Texas A&M, and now they get to do that run. And I think they'll be in the top 12 throughout the season. Any thoughts on Notre Dame before we close?
Oh, man, just what you were talking about, Clemson, man, Notre Dame looked fast. They look faster than I thought in the last couple of years. It's going to be exciting where they play, man. And, tell them again, don't stay up so late next time and try and beat them a little earlier next time. But that was a great game, man. That was a great atmosphere. College football is officially back. That felt great.
All right. In segment 2, we will talk Group of 5. Be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast. This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Save Project and author of Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. This book is your key to unlocking the secrets of being a successful student athlete. Drawing from my 30-year career as a teacher and coach, this instructional guide offers a unique perspective on achieving success in both academics and athletics. With over 15 personal stories and insightful anecdotes, Finding the Balance is a must-read for student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators. Visit www.ckasaveproject.org to get your copy and start finding the balance today. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 2. Let's go Group of 5, the American. Memphis handled its business. Memphis is going to be good this year. Pay attention to them. FAU had a good showing. No bad or unpredicted losses. Any thoughts on the American this week, sir?
Oh, man. From James Madison still is an American, right?
They are not in the American. They're in the Sun Belt. They're in the Sun Belt.
Oh, yeah, they are in the Sun Belt now. I don't watch too, but hey,
so it
Memphis is rolling.
Tells you what you know about the American, and that's okay. Because right. Memphis is rolling. And UTSA, that's probably about it. So in the Mountain West Pac-2, Boise didn't make a good first impression. UNLV with a good win over Houston. Oregon State and Washington State started off with wins. Any thoughts about the Mountain West or the Pac-2?
Oh, man. I mean, Arizona dropped 61, but they gave up 39. So maybe that's something for the line everybody to look for, and especially in Vegas. Colorado State got smoked. Didn't expect to get smoked by 50, but,
yes, neither did I, but that was strictly for entertainment purposes only.
Right. Texas is playing for a different game.
All right, Conference USA. Here's everything you need to know about Conference USA, fans. Liberty is 1-0. Okay, any thoughts about Conference USA, sir?
Not about them, but Georgia Tech is now 2-0, and they beat them Georgia State. Georgia Tech beat Georgia State pretty handedly. So keep an eye on the Yellow Jackets.
Okay. Sun Belt Conference. ODU with good bump against South Carolina. No major losses. JMU handled its business. Any thoughts about the Sun Belt?
Northwestern got a win. So, start turning on, get the notifications going. We'll see how many times that happens.
That will be the MAC, and that's next. Western Michigan and Miami of Ohio hung with the big boys. Miami of Ohio scored just few enough points for me to be happy against Northwestern. And then HBCUs, FAMU was 2-0. Morgan had a big win over Hampton, and no major happenings beyond
State,
that.
1-1. Del State 1-1.
Okay. All right. In segment 3, get ready to talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only, as well as our power rankings. We don't wait for the AP and the coaches poll. We do it based on our knowledge. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast. This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Save Project, with a question for you. Are you passionate about supporting student athletes? If so, then become an official member of the CKA Save Project and make a difference today. With your membership, you'll be able to help us provide essential academic and athletic support to underserved communities nationwide. Join us in empowering student athletes to achieve their full potential, both on and off the field. Together, we can build a brighter future through education and sports. Visit ckasaveproject.org and choose your membership level now. $25 is a bronze level membership, $50 is a silver level membership, and $100 is a gold level membership. Be a part of the change. Become a member of the CKA Save Project today. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 3. Week 1 rankings. 1, conference champions. Remember, we do it based on the college football playoff. Conference champions, we got Georgia from the SEC, Ohio State from the Big Ten, projected Miami from the ACC after week one, Utah from the Big 12, and Memphis from the AAC is my choice as group of five. Next seven, Oregon, but you better play better, Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, Michigan, and Penn State. And on the outside looking in, as of now, Missouri, Florida State, Kansas State, Iowa, who put some points up, and Boise State. Any thoughts, Will, on this week? Anybody we should follow? Anybody we shouldn't follow?
Everything looks pretty standard for now. Week one in the books. We'll see what happens with USC and LSU. Depends on how big that win could be on the other side. Maybe they can creep into the top 10, but for now, it looks solid.
Okay. Picks of the week, our season long bets. I got Georgia over 10.5 and Missouri over 9.5. They got my wins. Big 12, Colorado under 5.5. Season starts next week. So good luck with that. And Utah over 9.5. ACC, I'm rolling with NC State and SMU, and they started off with wins, both of them over 8.5. Independent, I'm in love with Notre Dame, and they got me going. And UMass under 3.5, no wins yet. Good, good, good. In the American, unfortunately, I picked three teams in the American: Memphis, USF, University of South Florida, both with the overs, and UAB with under 6.5. Everybody got a win. Mountain West, Pac-2, Boise State over 9, and they got a win. And New Mexico under 1.5. But Will, they have been playing well, and they've been
Hmm.
scaring me. So I'm like, uh-oh. Hopefully that changes. Conference USA, we got Liberty over 10.5. They should win every week. And FIU over 4. And the Sun Belt, I got Texas State over 8.5. They got their win. And a little Maction. Toledo over 8.5 with a win. And of course, my directional Michigan school over 6.5. They haven't gotten a win yet. My showcase games. Miami minus 2.5 over Florida. Got a big win there. My two play was Penn State minus 10.5 and Northwestern minus 4.5. Got that win. A three-play spread. This is why I was a little disappointed in Houston. North Texas got the win outright. Houston was minus 2.5 and got smoked by UNLV. And JMU handled business. And then my four-play money line, I had Virginia Tech, Georgia, Penn State, and Boise State. And Virginia Tech lost to Vanderbilt. And this is why we
Yeah.
say the ACC, you guys got to do better. My over game of the week was Clemson, Georgia. I thought Clemson was going to bring something. Nope. And my under game of the week was Miami of Ohio versus Northwestern. Got a win there. My upset outright, Notre Dame over Texas A&M, and I got that win. Will, how was your week one?
I was 7 out of 10. I got some good picks out of there. One of the teams that I did, Miami of Ohio, I thought they were going to play a lot better or even get the win, to be honest with you, and they did not. But everybody else, for the most part, did what they needed to do. There was a couple teams that was the spread was a little higher than they should have, and they probably, put the freshmen in, and Mama got to see the play, and Mama already drove all the way to Texas to see my baby play, so he got a couple reps. But we'll tighten that up next week, man. But at 7 out of 10, I'm very very confident we're gonna hit soon. So
All
that's
right. Week two games of note: Texas at Michigan. See, we immediately will take care of the top 10. We'll immediately take care of the top 12. Kansas
Yep.
State versus Tulane. They're going to Tulane. So this is Tulane's opportunity to do something. Georgia Tech's playing Syracuse. Let's see if Georgia Tech can keep the winning going. Iowa State versus Iowa. That's a big rivalry. Kansas is going to Illinois. Can a top level Big 12 team beat a middle of the road Big 10 team? Tennessee is playing North Carolina State in Charlotte. This is NC State's opportunity to make some noise. Colorado is traveling to Nebraska. A little concerned about that one for the Buffaloes. And Boise State is going to Oregon. Any game next week that catches your eye, sir?
I'm looking at Texas and Michigan. Obviously, that'll shake things up in the top 10. We got Penn State got to keep winning. You can't win third if you can't if you keep losing. So just winning, they got to win. It'll be interesting to watch NC State over Tennessee. I think that may be a little overvalued. I think, to be honest with you, NC State's going to get whooped. That's just how I believe. Expecting to think Clemson could lose Appalachian State. Appalachian State, they could. They're a good team. They're not scared of the big dog, and Clemson is not a big dog anymore. So keep an eye on that. I think that's going to be. And then if I can stay up, Coach, Oregon, Boise State, always exciting. Form, the hopefully the scoring.
6 a.m. Sports Center for that game.
There you go, right?
6 a.m. Sports Center for that game. All right. So on behalf of my captain for life, Will Cotton, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast. We will see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches podcast.